Today we are going to talk about our first date. Welcome everybody. We are Goldilocks and the Silver Fox, aka Carl and Joanne.
Yes, we are.
So let's get into it. All right, guys. So to refreshen everybody's memory, I wanted to read real quick, just briefly. We pulled the cards. For those of you who don't know, Carl and I are going on 52 dates this year.
Yes.
We bought a deck of cards, and it's 52, what is it called? It's 52 scratch-off date ideas.
Scratch-off date ideas, yeah, it's great.
On our last podcast, we pulled our first one, remember?
Right.
And it was to go on a date, but you have to solve a puzzle. Now, that could have been any sort of puzzle. The puzzles are a lot of different things. It could have been a Rubik's Cube if we would have wanted it to. So I told Carl I would plan this date. This would be on me. And he was just going to go along for the ride.
Yes.
And so I bought a literal puzzle, a 100-piece puzzle. So nothing too, I didn't want to get a 600-piece puzzle. There's no way you're getting that done on a date.
Right.
I also didn't want a 12-piece puzzle because that's like, you know.
That's what I secretly wanted.
Sure, yeah. So let's talk about our date.
Okay.
Let's talk about how that went.
Okay.
So I plan to take Carl down to this brewery in downtown Dunedin.
Well, yeah, so let me just interrupt.
Yeah.
So the card says basically just do a puzzle, basically. It doesn't say anything else.
That's right.
And then you could add your own stuff to it.
Yes.
So Joanne was planning it.
Yep.
And I think we're each going to, whoever's turn to do it, like next week will be my turn.
Yes.
I got to plan it.
Yeah. Or, I mean, if he needs help, that's fine.
Well, yeah, but still.
We're going to try to,
yeah, but so
try to take ownership.
Right. We should try to take ownership. So, I think I said in the last podcast, my mind immediately went to just sitting in the house doing a puzzle with like hot chocolate. Or just
that's
something
what you expected, yeah.
kind of laid back.
Yes.
Date night, just hanging out together, us focusing on a project.
Yeah.
Or just doing something together.
Yeah.
And then Joanne got creative.
Yeah, and I will say the other one is a great option. Had it been raining or something, great option. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
But and I, also, you guys, I do want to talk about, but we'll do it after we talk about our date. But I do want to talk about why are we doing?
Yeah, that's a good
date
point.
night. Do you want to start with that, or do we want to do that after we talk about our date? Because
let's start with that. Yeah, because
start with that. Okay.
Yeah.
So we did want to get into a little bit why we decided to go ahead and do these 52 dates. And you may have your own opinion, but I know that for me, and it was really evident last night to me, we need to reconnect. The kids are grown. Now we have Andrew, and he'll always be with us, but still, they're grown up. The focus isn't the same as it was even just a few years ago. Right. Brandon's moved out, so that's a huge shift in the family. Right. And Amanda's older, and I mean she works for the family business, but she's an adult. She does her thing. She doesn't ask permission to do stuff.
Right.
And so we've got to sort of reinvent ourselves and our relationship. I mean, that's how I feel.
That's pretty deep. Wow.
Well, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, you're right.
And because your dynamics are different when you're raising the kids.
Yeah.
And then last night when we went out, I have to tell you, I felt really rusty, like it being just you and I. It had been a while that it was just you and I that went out, and I felt kind of rusty. It was interesting. So, give me a little feedback on your end on that.
Well, yeah, so it's funny. I think things change. So we've been married
33 years, but been together 35.
I had to wait for the last number because I always get it wrong. 33 years we've been married.
Yep.
Feels longer. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, just kidding. Totally kidding. But we've been married for 33 years. We've talked about in the past. We have such great things about us because we're opposites.
Yeah.
We balance each other out very well.
The yin and the yang of,
but it's so, and this podcast has been fun. It's been a blast because it's kind of part of reconnecting with each other. Sure. But you get busy with life, and I don't want to say we take you can tend to take people for granted. But I think you kind of just get into a groove where things get busy. Yeah. And things have changed, and we're all doing different things and trying different things out, and so I think it is good. I didn't really know what I thought about the whole date thing. I wanted to start doing more going out, just us.
Yeah.
But I think this is kind of a neat idea.
I would say,
because it's kind of just adding stuff we would probably never do.
That's exactly right.
Like I would never do a puzzle.
No.
And we'll explain the
can't wait to tell you guys how it all went.
Joanne's twist on date night for the puzzle. So talk about taking people out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
She definitely did that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just say, I think that was adding to some of the rustiness. Because we were going out to do an event and do something that most people would never do at a table in a restaurant.
We were completely out of our element.
Yeah,
if
but
you
I think this doing the puzzle part of it, I think added to that.
Oh, it totally
So,
did.
I don't want people to get the wrong idea, like we never go out together.
No.
Or never do anything together.
But we never do a puzzle. I don't think I've ever done a puzzle with you. I've done them with my children.
Yeah, but probably with the kids. But yeah.
Not,
So you're saying we were rusty. I didn't really feel like we were rusty.
Okay.
I think it was just... And we'll probably have to... once we explain the date, I think you guys will kind of understand why.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel it was rusty. I just felt it was awkward because there was a tendency to overthink it, which is what I do.
Right.
Like, okay, where do we sit? Oh my God, okay, how are we going to eat? Okay,
well, let's get into that. Let's get into the date because I don't want you to give away too much.
All right. So anyways, I guess I didn't feel that it was rusty between you and I.
Okay.
I just felt it was like... Okay, how are we doing this?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think to me it was more that than anything else.
Okay. So let's get into the date a little bit then, right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Unless you want to talk about like how you feel about why we're doing. We're going to incorporate date night into our lives. Like, I mean, I said my part, but
So
here goes the slurp, everyone. Get ready.
Slurpless coffee. Hang on.
Okay, a little gulp, little tiny gulp there. Okay.
I had a little tiny slurp. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Now I'm so thinking about it too much.
Preoccupied.
So all right. So I guess if I was to say anything about this, I think this podcast. Mm-hmm. I think people like watch the podcast. We're laughing. We're having fun.
Yeah.
And we do that. That is part of our lives.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We're not walking around all the time like that. And I think you pointed that out to somebody else. And, so, I mean, we have busy lives. So it is good to reconnect. I think this podcast helps us to do that.
Right.
And I think this date night thing is part of that.
Right.
But I think, if I really want to be honest, I think any relationship can use help in growing, getting deeper, and all that.
Yeah.
And, I agree with you.
Especially after the kids grow. A lot of couples get a divorce right about now because the kids are grown and they've grown apart during that time. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's something that you have to, and that's not been on the table for us, because we get along, we actually like each other, but it's a good time to start investing in your relationship again.
Yeah.
And obviously we have to invest in our relationships all the way along, but I mean, when the kids go, that's like a void. And it's a good time to fill the void. You got to fill that void. Yeah. And it's a good time to have your hobbies, but it's also a good time to reconnect with each other and do things together.
Yeah, and I think too, we're very opposite with our hobbies, and it's easy to just get consumed by your hobby. So, so I think it's healthy to just make time to reconnect, and I think this is great while we're doing this. We can share it with you guys. You can come along for the ride. Yeah. We're always going to have a unique and quirky perspective.
Oh yeah,
on anything we do.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we can't just do what the card says. We got to add something a little different to it. Yeah. And just my last 2 cents before we get into our stories. So, my previous job, I came up to retirement, and everybody has different visions of what retirement is.
Yeah.
So that movie, what was that movie with Matthew McConaughey and Terry Bradshaw?
Oh, Failure to Launch.
Failure to Launch, where he lived at home and he was in his 40s or something. Yeah. And the parents just wanted their house back.
Yeah. Well, the mom loved him being
right.
She loved him, but the dad wanted
and so I think that movie was kind of unique because it kind of had the male perspective and the mom's perspective. Yeah,
the mom was doing his laundry.
The mom was like, secretly she tells him, she's like, I don't want you to leave because I'm afraid to be alone with your dad.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And the dad, he had his naked room.
Yes.
Remember the naked room?
Because when Matthew moved out, then he turned it into the naked room.
Yeah, so I thought I was going to have a naked room, but that's not going to happen.
Oh, wow. Okay, it's not that kind of podcast. All righty. So let's get into our date. Okay.
All right.
So I bought a puzzle, as mentioned, a 100-piece puzzle. I thought, okay, that's not too daunting. And I wanted to take Carl out to this brewery that we had never been to. They make their own beer, and that's what they sell. And I thought, it looks like a cool place.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of local breweries that make their own beer around here.
We do. So we had never gone to this one, downtown Dunedin, a great little town, so much to do there. So we go down, we find parking, which was great, and we go to the brewery, and you walk in, and like nobody greets you. Like we didn't get greeted, so it was kind of like, well, do we seat ourselves? So apparently you do. So we went, and we grabbed a little table, and then there's this woman pushing tables together, and I thought maybe she worked there. So I walked up to her and I said,
and you start helping her push the table together.
I'm like, hey, do you need help pushing the table? And she's like, yeah, because I wanted to sort of, if she worked there, I wanted to ask her a question, but I didn't want to seem rude. So I said, hey, so we just sat ourselves. And she goes, yeah, we are too. And I go, oh, you're a patron. She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. So I helped her move the table, and then she said, yeah, I think you have to get in line to go get your beer. So you basically walk up to the bar.
Yeah.
You order your beer or your snack. So there wasn't like a meal.
Right.
So it was like a snack. And I thought, okay, well that's... So Carl was like, no, I really want food. So we left there.
Yeah.
And I wanted to secretly go... Well, I wasn't secretive about it at all. I wanted to go to the Hanu. Because it's delicious.
Well, we got to try something different.
It's the best food ever. So Carl was like, let's try something different. So we ended up going to a barbecue place because they did have gluten-free on the menu. Mm-hmm. Now, Carl, I want you to sort of share some of your thoughts about... We got a table... After making the poor waitress walk through the entire restaurant, do you want to sit outside? No, we want to sit inside. We go inside, then there's a band outside. No, we want to sit outside by the band. So we do this complete circle. She finally is like, thank the Lord, I get to seat these people. So we finally sit down on the edge.
Yeah, so I guess I'm going to back up just a little bit. So Joanne's like, date night is we're going to go out. And in my mind was go out to dinner, so I didn't, that's when we sat down in the little brewery.
Yeah.
I wanted to eat because I didn't eat. Mm-hmm. And so then it was like in my head, she's like, we're going to go out to eat. We're going to do a puzzle on the table that we're going to have our food.
Yes. Yes, we're doing the puzzle while we're out, yeah.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
In downtown Dunedin, which is kind of hopping and busy.
Yes.
So, of course, my mind goes into overdrive.
Yeah, as it always does. And I'm like, how are we going to do a puzzle on a table with all these people? It's going to be... Because I can only imagine if I was at a restaurant and someone else was doing a puzzle on the table, where my mind would go and all the quirky things that I would come up with and laugh. Yes.
So
he would be making fun of them.
I would. And I'd be entertaining myself and then trying to maybe sharing it with Joanne or whatever.
Yes.
And, it's just... That's not something you see.
Right.
So then I'm like, okay, holy cow, we're going to do it. And again, sometimes stepping out of my comfort zone is not always easy. But I'm trying to go with the flow here.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, we're going to do a puzzle. And then the conversation was, where are we going to eat? And we kind of went back and forth on that.
Yeah, and I started to get anxiety because I don't like to eat late at night. I can't. I won't sleep. So...
And that's a whole nother...
So now the sun is down now. The sun was up when we got there. Now the sun is down. And I'm like, we need to choose a place. So we chose the barbecue joint.
And then it's like, okay. And then Joanne looks at me like, where do you want to sit? I'm like, holy Christ, I don't know. And so we kind of walked inside and I'm like looking at every table. All right, like where are we going to put a puzzle on the table? I'm
and then you saw the band and you're like, let's sit outside by the band.
At first I'm like, is there somewhere we can go in a corner somewhere? Can you tuck us in a corner? And then I saw the band outside setting up.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, shit, there's a band.
Yeah.
And they're like, we asked what time the band started, and it was about an hour later. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, shit, this will be perfect. We can have our dinner, hopefully do the puzzle, and then listen to the band.
Yeah.
So then we go back outside, and they tried to set us like right in front of the... Because I asked about the band, she like set us right in front of the band.
Right.
I'm like, no, because...
Let's move to the edge.
Yeah. Even the guys in the band are going to be staring at us doing the puzzle and be distracted. So I'm like, let's not do that. Let's kind of go off to the side. And then it was ironic. It was a little funny because I didn't want to be in the middle. I wanted to be kind of off to the side.
Yeah.
So we go to it's outside seating, and they have a little fence, little metal fence. And basically our table was up against the metal fence. And on the other side of that fence, literally was the sidewalk.
Yeah,
where people would walk by.
Like
you just
very
walk by
busy
going,
night, so
going by.
Were just walking by.
So that added to the more people walking by while we're doing our puzzle.
Yeah, the extra. And Carl's a very self-conscious person. I could give a flip what anybody thinks.
Yeah, and I'm working on that.
Carl's very self-conscious, so he cares what everybody thinks about everything.
At times I do. And it's like, so... Yeah, and so I'm working on that. I'm trying to be more in the moment with you and all that.
Yeah.
And just because is sarcastic the right word?
I don't know what you're trying to explain.
The way my mind works, the way I make fun of things and events.
You are sarcastic. You can be sarcastic.
I guess it's sarcastic, or just I try to find humor in things, and I would find probably a lot of humor just watching someone do a puzzle. And maybe it's not as abnormal to everybody else, but I thought it was kind of weird.
Okay, of course, because you think everything's weird.
Yeah, exactly.
We had a great waiter, and so we sat down and ordered our drinks, and then we ordered our food, and then while he's putting in whatever order, I go sit next to Carl, and I break out the puzzle. He's like, we're going to do the puzzle. And I'm like, yeah, we're doing the puzzle. And I break out the puzzle, and now he's like, Carl's having like just a mini meltdown. Not too terrible, just like a little bit of discomfort. Just a little discomfort.
Yeah.
And so now it's like pitch dark out, and we're outside.
Yeah.
There's no lighting.
Yeah, so we didn't plan that through.
No, and I had, believe it or not, I had a backup plan. I had lights in my car. I had a large piece of cardboard because I said we're not going home until we do the puzzle. Mm-hmm. And in case we can't do it at the restaurant for some reason, we're sitting in the back of the truck because I have a truck so we can sit in the bed of the truck. I had it all prepared, all the lighting I need, but I didn't drag all that stuff into the restaurant.
Thank God.
Well, I mean, it would have been beneficial to have those
lights.
My God.
Setting up lights and setting up cardboard stuff, that would have been crazy.
So we got the table finagles where we could get a little bit of lighting from, I don't even know where it was coming from. So we started working on the puzzle, and the waiter, he never said a word about it.
Yeah, and I kept waiting for him like, hey, what are you guys doing?
He was so great. He never said a word about it. He just did, he was very attentive, but he didn't say a word about it. And honestly, by the time our meal was done and our dessert was done, hold on, I got to check my computer. Okay. By the time our meal was done and our computer was done, our meal was done and our dessert was done, we had finished the puzzle. So we didn't take the table any longer because that's what I wouldn't have wanted to do.
Yeah, and
but
it was a busy night, but they weren't, not every seat in the place.
So
was taken,
Carl loves music. You guys know, if you've listened to any of our
well, hang on. So going back to just a couple more things about that, because you're ready to move on already, right?
Well, I want to talk about the ambiance of the restaurant, restaurant.
Are we moving on from the puzzle?
No. Well, we're still at the restaurant.
Okay, we're still at the restaurant. Okay.
Yeah, we're still at the restaurant, and so I wanted to ask. So we're seated, we're working on the puzzle. Our food comes, we're eating our food, and the band starts playing.
Yeah, and we were looking forward to the band. They were over there tuning up while we were working on our puzzle.
Yeah. Carl, I want you to share your feelings about the band.
Well, I don't know how honest I should be.
Listen, let's start off by saying this. We do appreciate live music.
Yes.
And I have an extra appreciation for it because I've gotten up in front of people and sang and performed and done some things. And first of all, it takes an incredible amount of courage to do it.
Sure, absolutely.
An incredible amount of courage. And then something I learned while we were doing our music stuff is that it takes not only courage, but to actually make something sound even mediocre takes an incredible amount of work.
Practice and work and all that.
It really does. So when I observe something that maybe is not as good as what you'd hoped for, I'll put it like that, I still do have an appreciation for the fact that they're out there doing it.
Yeah.
But Carl does not like strummy guitar.
Oh, I absolutely do not like it. So we're going to preface this. I'm going to talk about this band.
Yeah.
And then we did see a couple other bands.
Oh, yes.
And just,
they were excellent.
I'm going to talk about, the talent, the talent levels and all that. Okay. So here's the thing is, I absolutely, and I don't know where this came from, and I was actually in a band once where I played electric guitar, and someone else played acoustic. And to me, strummy is just like you hold a chord with one hand. Usually this is done on like an acoustic. They'll just hold a chord and it's like strum. There's no rhythm to it. There's no nothing. It's just strum. And then they'll switch a chord, strum. And it's just a constant strum up and down.
Yeah.
And to me, there's nothing more boring than that, because it's just so predictable.
There's no a lot of talent.
And some people love that. I guess it could be a very relaxed vibe, but there's no creativity to it. There's nothing picked out. There's no extra notes. There's no almost like no pauses sometimes.
Yeah.
And I just don't like it. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't make me tap my toe or try to be in the beat. And they start playing like the first song.
Yeah.
And I get it. Most people that play acoustic, there's a lot of strumming that goes involved with it. And it's just going to town, man. Strum, going to town. And the guitar was really loud. And then the bass player jumps in. And then the drummer... And the drummer was, I didn't really see them at first because of where we were sitting, like the drummer. And it sounded like a really cheap drum set. Almost like a child's beginner drum set.
I felt like all of their equipment sounded like a child's beginner drum set. Child's beginner set.
This is just our honest, This is just our honest opinion. Yeah. So, again, we've played around with music and done different things, and I'm sure people would say the same stuff about us.
Sure.
Or, somebody could pick it apart.
I can take it, yeah.
But, I
know I'm not awesome.
Right. Well, no, you are awesome. But, we have fun. That's all that matters.
Right.
And so these guys are going, and then this singer kind of starts singing in, and he's below his guitar. The guitar's overpowering him. The drummer's off beat. Yeah. And I look over because I'm like... something is just not right. And I look over, and it's some kind of a bongo that he's got set up. And it sounds almost like a snare drum with some other stuff. It was so
weird. It sounded very tappy to me, and I didn't really love that.
Yeah, and, he was like, had his eyes closed, and he was just swaying back and forth, but he was completely off beat.
Yeah, he was in his own world. And then the bass player's playing, and it was just like, oh my God. Yeah. And then, so, of course, me being me, it's like, now I'm focused on the band, and now I'm like, oh my God. And I'm just listening, and then, the drummer, I'm like, what's going on over here? And then, all right, I'm like, okay, the next song will get better. And then it was literally strummy. Mm-hmm. Sound like the first song, but the words were different. Yeah,
and I didn't.
All the songs did sound the same.
They sounded like the same.
They did, and they were from this similar time era, and it was a similar genre of music. Yeah. But honestly, they all sounded the same.
So much
just different words.
So much so, like a song was playing, and they were playing. What would you call it? It was 90s something?
Yeah, it was 90s, like, not alternative, but not pop either. It was like, I don't want to say 90s easy listening, but...
what was that guy? I brought his name up last night. I've never been a big fan of him. He's very popular.
Yeah, just kind of laid back, mostly laid back stuff. And
yeah, I can't think of the name. But it's a perfect example. And I don't like his style of music. Nothing against him. I can't think of his name. It'll come to me in a little bit. Dave Matthews.
Okay. Right.
I know people love Dave Matthews. I just can't. It doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
And they had kind of a Dave Matthews vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
Out of tune and out of rhythm.
Yes. It was really something.
And they were just doing their thing. Yeah. And then of course I get sucked into it, and they're playing and. Sucked into it because now I'm like focused.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my god. So they're playing songs, and I don't recognize any of the first several songs they play. And then they play a song that I did recognize. I get up to go to the bathroom, and I came back, and they were now playing a different song. But it sounded so much like the first one, I started singing the words to the first song, and it fit perfectly into it.
You could literally sing the same song to every new music that they put out because it was that similar. Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
So, for the people out there that actually know me, and I'm surprised you haven't brought it up, but you'd be like, well, every AC/DC song sounds the same.
They do. You have a very...
There's a sound. Bands have a sound.
Yes.
And, so... they had their own sound, but it just, it wasn't one of those things where like, wow, let's order a drink or two and just sit back and watch the band and enjoy it.
You wouldn't want to sit and watch the band and enjoy. You kind of want to eat and just leave and then go find something else. So that's what we did. Yeah. We when he was done hyper-focusing, and we cleaned up the puzzle and paid our bill, and so we thought, let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
Which was great because I hadn't gotten all my steps in that day.
Well, let's finish the puzzle. So, things that I probably would never do again are planning ahead. Do a puzzle in the dark. That was very challenging.
Right. It was. Although
in low lighting added to a little bit of the
it definitely
challenge.
did. The low lighting added to it, but I feel like in life, those are the things you remember. You don't remember when things go perfectly, but you do remember when that time that you put a 100-piece puzzle together, literally in the dark.
In the dark at a restaurant.
Yeah, you do remember that.
With the band.
That's right. That's the date you remember.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess that's true.
It goes perfect.
That's true. So I guess let's stick with that before we move on.
Okay.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, absolutely.
You had fun doing the puzzle?
Yeah, it's something completely, because it was very different.
Yeah.
To me, it was added another level to just going out to dinner. Anybody can just go out to dinner.
So
whatever,
I will.
Blah.
So I will say this.
Unless you're at the Hanu, it's not blah ever.
So with the food coming out so quick, I just thought that was ironic because we were actually doing an activity that distracted us from how long you normally wait for food.
That's right.
Especially when you're hungry, because I was hungry.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, when are they bringing it out? I'm ready. So the food came out really quick, and we had this puzzle spread all over the table.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh shit, how do we eat and do a puzzle?
But we did.
We did.
Yeah.
And then, you got to move your food over here. And then I was so distracted, like, okay, we got to work on the puzzle. My food's getting cold. So I'm like,
he's like, I got to take a break. My food's getting cold.
I'm like, oh.
And I was like, don't stress out. Just eat. My God, just relax.
I'm like, okay.
Carl's trying to like juggle all this stuff. I'm like, dude, take a breath.
Well, and then I'm like, oh crap, my food's getting cold. So then I had to eat my food. And then...
and I didn't have to worry about my food getting cold because I got a salad, so mine was perfect. Yeah,
and
it was fine.
And so, and I'll be honest, so it was fun. I enjoyed going out with you. That's always fun. So we'd spend some time together. So that was fun.
Yeah.
It was a little awkward to do this in a public setting.
And this is what's funny. Again, this is the thing about our personalities. Is it was not awkward for me at all. I just don't give a flip.
Well, and that's...
and I'm just sharing. I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
I'm not judging you at all. I'm just saying, for me, I could, whatever.
I'm trying to work on that. I wish I could be more like that. But, hey...
But it was for you, and that's fine.
We're
different. We are very different people.
It's just...
We always talk about that,
So, so it was kind of awkward.
Yeah.
But we did it. We got through it. It was interesting... trying to do it in the dark. That added a whole nother level. So I think that was more of a challenge.
Yeah.
And then about like halfway through, I kind of finished my meal, and I do. You have ADHD and you get antsy and bored easy.
I do.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I have ADHD like you, but I'm like, when I'm kind of sitting doing something for a while, I'm like, okay, if I'm not super into it,
you gotta
time to move on.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to kind of get there, and I'm like, all right, shit, are we doing this whole puzzle?
He did. You asked. Are we doing
do we have to finish this before we leave?
I said, yes, we do.
So I'm like, I didn't know if the date consisted of, hey, we put about 12 pieces together. Nope. It's time to move on. She's like, no, we're not leaving until we finish this puzzle. Then it's like, okay, put my thinking cap on. I got super focused. Yeah. And then we got the puzzle done.
We got it done. And he's like, oh, thank God I don't have to listen to this band anymore.
That's truly, that was kind of going through my head.
Get out of here.
So yes, we can get away from this band. We can get this off the table so everybody's not staring at us. Right. And I know, my personality, I kind of feel like everybody's staring at us.
Carl thinks during life everyone's staring at him, yeah.
Well, of course they do.
Oh, wow,
but, so, and I know that they're not.
Really?
But, talking about the puzzle.
Okay, yeah.
So, that is kind of, I kind of feel like everybody's like staring at us because we're doing this activity that nobody does.
And a couple people did look as they walked by, but they smiled.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and so I guess the dating thing is great for our relationship.
Yeah.
But I also think some of the stuff we may put on top of it may be good for me getting out of my comfort zone.
And perhaps me as well.
Yeah, because, that's good to do.
Yeah.
And, so here's what I think is funny. So we're sitting at a table, we're doing our thing, and I'm kind of focused on what's going on our table. And Dunedin is, it's unique because people can actually bring their dogs.
Yeah, they call it Dog Eden. Yeah.
Dog Eden.
Yeah, it's Dunedin, but they nicknamed it Dog Eden because dogs are allowed everywhere.
They are. And I don't really know what I think about this, but people bring their pets to the restaurants.
Yeah.
And this restaurant, the outside seating.
Oh, nice one. For those of you listening, we apologize. Carl just slammed his microphone with his hand.
I talk with my hands. Hey,
he does.
Yeah. So there's people that bring their dogs and they'll sit them on the chair next to them or on the ground and they get food, whatever they do.
It's usually they have them like on the ground. Usually.
Yeah. And I'm still getting used to this because that's kind of just a weird thing for me, but at a restaurant.
Yeah.
So Joanne's like, hey, did you just see the old lady that just left?
Oh.
I'm like, no.
Okay.
What?
Hold on. Okay. So this lady, she's older, and she's got her dog in a stroller. Now, I don't know if that's a common thing that you guys see where you live, but it's very common here. Yeah. Dogs in strollers.
In Dunedin especially.
And then that way you can take your doggie with you, and if it's a little dog, because typically if it's in a stroller, it's a little tiny dog, it doesn't have to walk 50 steps to your every two. Like it can go enjoy life without being exhausted. And you also don't have to carry it. So they got doggy strollers, very popular. Well, she's got her little dog in her stroller. She gets it from the table, and I glance over, I see the dog, I see her, and then I look at the table, and she's got an empty beer bottle and a shot glass.
That's all that's on the table.
All the time. And I said, oh my gosh, she is getting her weekend started with a bang. I was like, okay, I might just want to follow this lady around.
Right.
She knows how to live.
She just came in. Hey, my Saturday is just getting started.
That's right.
Give me a beer and a shot.
I was like, all right.
So, yeah.
That was so funny.
So here's us kind of making fun of someone else.
We do observe our surroundings.
That's the kind of stuff that I'm like, what are other people saying about us? And I guess I really don't care, and I just need to remind myself I don't care.
Right, that's right.
So, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that was great.
So what were your thoughts? So I guess to finish up what I was thinking, I enjoyed it. I definitely stepped out of my comfort zone. It was unique. The food wasn't that good, and the band wasn't that good. So I wouldn't go back to that particular restaurant.
Right.
But I had fun.
Yeah.
We did laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
The quirkiness of it.
Carl was really talking about that band, and so I got some laughs, at their expense. But he couldn't quite let that go. No, I had a great time, and I have to say I felt like it started out a little bit rusty because the original restaurant didn't work out. So it was like, oh my gosh. Right. Then I got a little anxious because it was getting late, and then I felt anxious. But then once we got seated and I ordered a salad, then I was fine.
Yeah.
Once we, the food, because that's just really. I get really high strung, but once we got seated and got everything going, I had a great time, and then we left. Well,
so I guess to finish up with date night was a success. Our very first date night.
Well, yeah, we're not even done talking about date night. What the hell?
Well, that was our.
That was phase one. Yeah, but that was just phase one. I mean, date night continued.
Okay.
So we left there, and Carl said, "Hey, let's go walk around." And so we did, and we walked around some of the side streets in Dunedin, which we don't do that very often.
Right.
And we came across a place called Dunedin Brewery. Mm-hmm. So it's another brewery.
Yeah, and probably in downtown, really cool. There's probably like 7 or 8.
Oh yeah, easily.
Local breweries that brew their own beer. It's kind of neat.
I would like to go back there some point in time. So they had the restaurant or whatever they had in one building, and then they had this other building which is basically a garage with these very large garage doors. And they opened it up, and there was a band in there playing, and they were awesome.
Yeah. So this place, it was set up. They had a big, nice stage. They had. I don't want to say lighting up, like a big giant TV with things behind them.
Yeah, they had a huge screen with some cool stuff playing on it.
And lighting.
And their sound
were phenomenal.
It was 4 of them. There was a bass guitar, lead guitar, drummer, and a keyboardist, and they were awesome. And they were having so much fun.
Yeah.
All of them had a smile on their face.
They smiled the entire time. Yeah.
They played funk. They played a little more of a bluesy rock, sort of, I guess. Mm-hmm. We only heard about 3 songs. Well, one of their songs was super long because they were kind of ending hit.
Jamming.
But they were just
no, we
jamming.
probably heard about 5 songs, but they were just completely jamming. They were long songs.
They were so good. So that was a lot of fun. And people probably don't really need to care about details on that.
Well, the only thing I'll say is, for me, is obviously the sound is huge.
Oh, yeah.
But these guys, they were all just looking at each other.
Really tuned into each other.
Totally connected with each other. Smiling, have the absolute time of their lives, and they sounded so good.
Oh, yeah, they were
And
great.
to me, that kind of music, when you're seeing people play that good and having that much fun,
they were
connecting
locked in with each other.
Oh,
totally
it just it sucks you into it. It sucks you into it. So I thought they were great.
It's a whole different experience. So we enjoyed that.
That was cool. Yeah.
They wrap up around 9 because there is residential. So that was very smart of them to wrap up around 9. And so then we were going to walk towards the car. So we're walking around a little side street, and actually we ended up going to get ice cream because I had to use the restroom. Well, I'm not going to go into a place and use their facilities and not buy something. So poor me, I had to get some ice cream. And Carl got some fudge.
Of course. Yeah,
so that was fun. So we leave there, and on our way to the car, there's a guy playing at a wine bar. And he's outside, and this place is packed, and he is jamming. It's just him and his guitar, but he's got a pedal, which if you're not familiar with music and how people create a lot of stuff nowadays, you can take a pedal and create a loop on it. So you play a riff on your guitar, and then you can loop that riff. Well, so he's doing all these different ones, and you can add to it. So
and keep building and building.
You build it, and I mean, he sounded great. So he did some AC/DC, some Beatles, some Ozzy, some Metallica. I mean, he just was going.
And he was so. As we were walking up, you hear it way down the street, and it sounds like a full band.
It really did.
He was doing the percussions on his guitar, and he was playing actually acoustic.
Yeah.
So this is a big...
It was amazing.
And he was 2 doors down from our first band.
He was 2 doors down.
And it's amazing. You got 2 guys playing acoustic.
Yeah.
And you would never think this was an acoustic guitar because it had all the different pedals.
It was amazing.
He would have it distorted. He would have it with wah-wah effects.
I mean, he's got it down.
And... it was so good. And a lot of the songs he did, he wasn't even singing.
He didn't sing.
He would play the instrumental part, but he'd also do the guitar as like a solo where the singer would sing.
That's right.
And so
then the crowd was so into it that the crowd would sing the words.
Right.
He was doing the music and the crowd would sing the words. And so that was a lot of fun. We made a pit stop and check that out for a little while. And then when he would pause, getting prepped for the next song, and he'd have to lay down his riff so that he could pedal it. So you could hear the other band 2 doors down, and it was just not even on the same planet. It was just not even close to the same category.
They were still out of tune, at a key,
absolutely.
at a rhythm.
Yeah, it was not even close.
And hey, the one group that I'm picking on, they're probably just having fun, and obviously the talent level was not there. And then you go see this guy that has the looper pedal and is able to build the song so full of by talent. Himself.
Yeah, full
it
of
sounded
talent.
like a full band.
He was incredible. He
was talking while he was playing. He would sing things and get the crowd involved while he was playing.
Yeah, he was great.
And it was just absolute talent.
Yeah.
And it's not a dig on really anybody.
No,
it's just
everybody has
some
their own
people have a
style.
natural talent. Some people really have to work hard to play mediocre.
Yeah.
And and I probably fall in that category. I have to work at it and I have fun with it. But it was interesting to see him and the response that he was getting.
Oh yeah, it was great.
And then when he would play, you'd hear the band, our original band, 2 doors down, like ooh.
Yeah. No, it was.
So it wasn't good.
But I think we had a great date night.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
We by the time we made it back to the Jeep, we both had smiles on our faces, and it all worked itself out, even though it was dark and it was this and it was that, so it worked out and it was great.
Yeah, it was.
So it was a lot of fun.
So success on our first date night.
Yeah, for sure.
Success.
Yes, success. So what I'd like to do, and we can talk about what we did today if we want to, but I would really like to draw for the next date night.
Okay, so now this one's on me.
This is on Carl, and I think I kept the first card out. I did because...
And you know what's interesting about this?
I don't know if I should mix them up or...
You don't know. So I think Joanne did a really good job buying this pack of date night cards, because those that actually listen to all our podcasts that are getting to know me, I'd be like secretly digging through the cards and picking the ones I want.
Oh, he would.
So these actually, you can't see what the cards say. You have to scratch them off to reveal what the date is.
I do. I'm going to mix these up because I just saw one. I saw
How did you
one
see it?
because I was just looking to see what types of things they have going on in here. And it was going to be one that you were going to pick, and you may end up eventually picking it anyway, but you'll throw a flag on it. So I want you'll throw a flag on it. So I mixed them. If you end up getting it is what it is.
But they're scratch offs, so how can you tell what it is?
Because there's a little bit of a genre like this. Okay, it gave a little hint. It just gave a little hint.
Okay, so
just
the
like
top
this
of the
one
card
said, piece by piece love, and it was the puzzle. So it gave a hint, and I thought, oof, Carl it's not going to be for him. So, but I shouldn't do that. I should just let you have to deal
cheating,
with it. So I'm spreading this deck out. Carl's going to pick one from the deck. I hope he gets the one that I just took out.
All right, so it says gratitude and love, and then to find any more on it,
you have to scratch
it off.
Yeah, so go ahead and scratch it.
And it says money wise. Oh, I guess it's got a little house on it, so we can do it at home.
Sure.
Money-wise, it says it's free.
Okay.
It takes half an hour to an hour.
Oh, boy, you cheater. Okay.
Yeah, I like that. And it says you can do it at any time.
Okay, and mine was similar. It says you can do it at home, $0 to $30, 1 to 2 hours, anytime, and there's a grocery card on it.
Because you had to buy a puzzle.
Sure, okay.
You got to get a puzzle. Okay, that makes sense.
So we're getting the hang of
do
how
we got a
this
scratchy
works.
thing? How do I
used my fingernail, but, I don't know.
All right, here we go. I'm scratching away.
Scratching away, okay. Yeah, remember, I
this
apologized.
Is a long one.
I apologize to everybody for the scratchy. So.
All right. So what?
Right. Just read it. There's enough out of the way, right? You can improvise.
What do you think of Ben and White? I got to guess the vowels and stuff? Uh-oh.
Oh, geez. He didn't bring his glasses. Do you want me to read it?
All right. It says, embark on a delightful journey to the past by recreating... Let's see. I guess I didn't scratch that. Your first date at home. Recreate the atmosphere you both cherished, reliving those special moments and sharing memories of how your beautiful journey as a couple began.
Okay.
Immerse yourselves in the magic of nostalgia and let the sparks of love reignite once more. This heartwarming experience is a wonderful way to celebrate your connection and rekindle the profound love that brought you together.
I love the editor of the cards, or the writer of the cards, because they are always like, okay, this may or may not be a good idea, but we're going to really pump it up at the end.
Yes.
All right, so our first date, we went putt-putt golfing.
I was thinking of that when I was reading that card.
And we went, did we go to dinner and a movie, or just putt-putt and dinner? Hold on. I think it was putt-putt and dinner.
Probably.
We went to putt-putt.
And probably ice cream or something. I don't know.
I think,
you think it was dinner?
I do think we went out to eat. I'm trying to remember. I remember putt-putt specifically. There's no way you took me out and you didn't eat.
Wow.
No, I'm just saying. You're a hungry guy.
That's true.
Yeah. I remember being on Clearwater Beach at putt-putt.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how you reenact that in your house.
Set an obstacle course. We don't even have golf clubs. Otherwise, all right. So.
No, or we could go out to putt. Like we could just reenact the date. Like I think we'd be safe to reenact it. They don't want you to spend money on everything, but if we wanted to, we probably could just go out to putt and go out to eat, and then sort of.
It says recreating their special first date at home.
It does say that, but again, it says you can have your own flair. We can modify it however we want. Right. So do you feel able to take ownership of this date?
Yeah, but I have to get a 55 Chevy because that's what I had at the time.
Oh my gosh, you did. But no, you can't get a 55 Chevy.
I'll borrow Robbie's car.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. I just don't know how exciting it's going to be for our viewers and listeners.
Well, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's why I think maybe we go out to putt-putt. That's why I think maybe we go out to do that. Because when you go out, there's always something to share.
There's something. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So our next date is going to be...
Probably putt-putt and dinner, I would say. Or something like that. You know what? You decide. You can mix it up.
So I'm going to put Carl's twist on this card.
Carl's twist on our first date reenactment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Carl's twist on our first date reenactment. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I got it. We'll see.
Okay.
All right. Some of these might be a success and some might be a flop. I think Joanne's will be more creative.
Well, we'll see.
We
see
shall
what
see.
you can do.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, friends, I think we've covered it.
We did.
This was just fun to talk about and fun to share with you guys. So we're going to share our date with you next week.
Yeah.
I don't know what other content we're going to have next week. It depends on how our week goes.
Well, we're
we're actually going out of town next weekend, so we're going to have to squeeze in our date before we go out of town next weekend. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Friends, we are going to the Meekum auction.
Oh, yeah.
In, what is that? Kissimmee, which is near Orlando.
Florida. Yeah,
it's near Orlando. We're going to see Brandon for his 24th birthday, if you can believe that.
That's
great. We're going to get together with Brandon and Haley and spend a little time with them. So we're going to have a busy week.
Yeah,
and we're going to share that with you. But hopefully Carl can get our date together
I have to
before
put
we
some
go
thought
out of
into
town.
it. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll do our best with that, and then
unless we have our date while we're out of town and drag everybody to, but that's not really a date if everybody goes to Putt-Putt.
Yeah, and maybe not every podcast is going to be totally consumed by our date, but this one we had a lot of stuff happen.
Right,
and
it was our first one.
First one.
And all that. Yeah.
Trying to figure this out.
We'll definitely share our date on each podcast.
Yeah.
We might as well.
Yeah.
But no, every podcast won't be consumed by it. But this one was our first one. There was a lot to talk about.
There was a lot to share and talk about. And I think it's ironic. So Joanne got the orange card where it's like, do a puzzle, and then I got a pink one that says recreate our whole first date. So I got more work to do.
Well, I don't know about that. Oh, Amanda's leaving. Bye, baby girl.
Andy's coming with me.
Oh, have a good
time.
time.
Where are you guys off to?
Library and then Walmart for spackling. It's dried.
Nice.
I might have some more in the garage.
Oh.
Stand by.
Oh, okay, let's wrap it.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. Love you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching. Tell your friends and share and like with your friends. And cue the music.
Okay. No, we were literally wrapping it up.